Hey guys, this is your tutorial, your lesson for 17.1. We are going to start with understanding division patterns. So I can use patterns to place the decimal point in a quotient. Now we have done this for 29 weeks with our math class, so hopefully this will be super simple for you. Okay, so the first thing we need to remember is that when we divide, we ask if our number is going to get larger or smaller. If it's going to get smaller, we move the decimal to the left. Okay, so we're trying to find a pattern. So it says Jada is playing a sorting game with a deck of math cards. Each card has an expression on one side. She lays out 10 of the cards. So it says sort the expressions on the card in the boxes. Okay, so we know that the pattern is if we're dividing by 100, we are doing what? We are moving our decimal 2 times to the left. So we go 1, 2. So we have our options of less than 1, between 1 and 10, and 10. So if I move my decimal, sorry, this is one of my first times used. Nope, I don't want a highlighter. Sorry, here we go. I want to come down here. Okay, if we move my decimal 1, 2 times, that gives me 7 and 52 hundredths. So I'm going to write this one here for time's sake. Don't mind my beautiful handwriting. It's hard to write with a mouse. Okay, if we move our decimal, how many times? We're going to move our decimal 3 times because we have 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3. What do we put in the beginning? So we have 936 thousandths. Is that less than 1, between 1 and 10, or greater than 10? Well, we know that that is less than 1. So 9, oh boy, 36 thousandths. Good. Okay, what are we going to do here? Oh, what is 10 to 10 squared? Remember, when we have an exponent, we are multiplying this number by itself that many times. So because we have 2, it would be 10 times 10. Well, what's 10 times 10? 10 times 10 is 100. So how many times are we going to move our decimal to the left? 2 times. 1, 2. What do I put in that space? You're right, a 0. So is that less than 1, between 1 and 10, or greater than 10? Well, we definitely know that that is less than 1. Who knows what number that is? Remember, when we say decimals, we go tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths. So we know this is 100 thousandths. Then we say our number, 842 hundred thousandths. Can you imagine if you had a cake and you had to cut into 100,000 pieces? All right, next one. Oh, what do we think? How many times are we going to move our decimal to the left? 1 time, 1. So what do we get? 84, whoops, and 2 tenths. Good. Okay, what about this one? Move it 1 time. Well, I automatically know that it's less than 1, so if I'm going to, oh, whoa. Look what they did to us. They snuck one in right there. So I'm going to erase that. And how many of you caught that before I caught it? Come on, erase. There we go. Okay, so we're multiplying by 10. So what do we do when we multiply by 10? We go 1, because our number is going to get larger, we go 1 to the right. So we move it 1 to the right. So what do we have? 9. Obviously, I have a hard time with 9s. And 36 hundredths. Oh, and 6s. I guess my little curves are having a hard time. Okay, divide by 10 squared. Well, what is 10 squared? We know that's 100. So how many times are we going to move our decimal to the left? Twice. So 936,000. Okay, and so on. I want you to go through when you do your online lesson, you're gonna do the rest of these, okay? So how can you use place value to determine the value of 7 in the quotient 752 divided by 100? Well, we know we're going to move our decimal. How many times? 1, 2. So what is our place value of 7? Well, it's 7 wholes, right? All right, turning the page. The factory making the math card ships a box with decks of cards to a warehouse. How much does the deck of cards weigh? Well, we need to find out what. How much does the deck of card weigh? Good. Where's our information? Sorry about that. Our information is right here. The box weighs 275 pounds and there's 1,000 decks of cards in there. Okay, so it says we want to figure out what does one or each card weigh? Well, we have a whole and we want to divide it into groups. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide. Okay, so dividing by 1,000 is the same as multiplying by what fraction? Oh, who remembers this? Dividing by 1,000 is the same as multiplying by what fraction? Remember, 1 divided by 1,000. 1 divided by 1,000. That's the same as dividing by that fraction. So what is the decimal equivalent? Well, we don't have any wholes. We don't have any tenths. We don't have any hundredths, and we have 1/1000th. Okay? So it wants us to complete the pattern. 275 times 1 is, whoa, 275. 275 times, oh, well, we just did this chapter, right? How do we move our decimal? It's 1 behind the decimal, so we're going to move it 1 to the left. Okay, 2 digits behind the decimal, so we're going to move it 2 to the left. You guys see those decimals? Woo! And 3 behind the decimal, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Maybe my mouse writing will get better by the end of this 6 weeks. Okay, so it says write a pattern for dividing 275 by 1, 10, 100, and 1,000. Okay, so now we're dividing. So we would write 275 divided by 1 equals 275. 275 divided by 10 equals, well, how many times am I going to move my decimal to the left? 1 time. 27 and 5/10. And so on. Divided by 100, I'm going to move it twice. So 275 divided by 100, I'm going to move it twice to the left. 1, 2. So it's 2 and 75 hundredths. 275 divided by 1,000, I'm going to move it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So 275 thousandths. So what can you conclude about the relationship between the patterns in part D and E? Well, this is 275, this is 227.5, oh, 2.75, and 275 thousandths. So when we multiply by the decimal, it's the same as if we are dividing by a whole number. So how much does each of the cards weigh? Well, we're saying 275 divided by 1,000. So what are we going to do? We're going to move our decimal 3 times to the left. 1, 2, 3. So there's where our decimal is. So how much does it weigh? 275 thousandths. And Come back up here. Oh, pounds. So find out how we label it. Okay. All right, let's move on. If I can't see, here we go. Okay. A store receives and sells 1,000 decks of the math cards. If the amount received from selling 1,000 decks of cards is 9,450, what is the price for each deck of cards? So we want to find out. Oh, here comes my family, so you'll probably hear them. What is the price for each deck of cards? Okay, so what are we going to have to decide? Are we going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? We've got a whole of $9,450. We sell them in 1,000 decks. So what are we going to do? We're going to divide. So how will we find it? We will divide. Okay, so it says divide 9,450 by 1, 10, 100, and 1,000. Okay, so using numerical form, we would do 9,450 divided by 1. Well, using an exponent, remember 10 to the 0 power is 1. So that's what we would do, 9,450 divided by 10 to the 0 power. Well, 10 to the divided by 10, so we know that's still the same answer. What is 10 in exponents? It's 10 to the first power. What is 100 in an exponent? 10 to the second power. What is 1,000 in exponents? 10 to the third power. Okay, so how is the change of the position of the decimal point related to the exponent for the power of 10? Well, each time we're moving that decimal that many times. Hey, so to find the cost for each deck of cards, how will the decimal point shift? Well, we're dividing by 1,000, remember? So we're doing 9,450 divided by 1,000. So how many times are we going to move that decimal to the left? We're going to move it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So to find how to, let's see, come back to this question. We're going to move it 3 times to the left. Okay. So as it increases by powers of 10, we are decreasing, we're moving we're shifting our number to the left, to the right. So to find the cost of each of the decks, how will the decimal point shift? It will shift 3 to the left. So what is the price of each of the cards? So we moved it 3 times, so now we have $9.45. Okay, so what you need to remember for this lesson is that whatever we're dividing by, however many zeros, we are moving it to the left. This works only because we are working with base 10 numbers, okay? It changes if we don't have base 10 numbers, but because we are working with base 10 numbers, we can just move the decimal to the left. All right, I'm going to flip over here to your assignment for today. So it says the shipment holds 100 bottles of glue. Use a pattern to find the weight. Okay, if you want to use a pattern, that's the times 1/10 times 1/10 times 100 tenths. Okay, or just show me the pattern. What is the weight of the bottle of glue? Okay, if each muffin contains the same amount of sugar, how many kilograms of sugar are in each corn muffin? Okay. So there, look right here, dry ingredients for 1,000 corn muffins. So it looks like you need to divide them by 1,000. Okay, and then complete the pattern. 45 divided by 1, 45 divided by 10. Oh, how many times are we going to move our decimal? We're going to move it 1 time. How are we going to move it? 2 times. Okay, and remember 10 to the 0 power is what? 10 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, 10 to the 0 power is 1. 10 to the first power is 10. Okay, All right, I don't have it on the back, so I had to print these out. Last thing, test prep, complete the pattern. Okay, it's showing you, just continue to complete the pattern. If there are 826 gallons of water in the 1,000 servings, how many gallons of water in 10 servings? Okay, so we need to find out how many gallons of water in 10 servings. Select all the numbers that make the equation true. So you need to figure out, what is 827 divided by 1,000, that number? Is 827 divided by that number? That number, okay? Figure out, remember, all, we circle all. Okay, tell how many place values and in what direction you should shift the decimal point to find the quotient. Okay, how many place values? There's the answer right there. And which direction should you shift them? There's the answer right there. Okay, when we add decimals, what do? We line up the decimals and add, and when we're done, we bring the decimals straight down. Okay, when we multiply decimals, here's the difference. We don't have to line up the decimals. We put the number with the most digits on top, ignore the decimal and multiply, and then count how many numbers are behind the decimal and move it to the left. Hey, if you have any questions, please email me or remind me so I can help. We're finding that you're not going through the tutorial videos that we're assigning. That is where you're going to get a lot of information from this video and from those videos. So please, please, please watch those videos. Don't just immediately go to your assignment and do it. Watch the videos, watch the tutorials. We're doing this to help you. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.